One thing that I don't understand, and I'll never understand, is why these hats get so much hate. It's a good-looking hat, it's aesthetically pleasing, and it makes sense. I'm not pretending to be a baseball player, and I'm not wearing a beanie pretending to be a dock worker. Beanies are kind of cool. I kind of like it. It's kind of grunge rock. But the thing about the beanie is, if it's hot out, why are you wearing it? Now, moving right along, today I'm going to talk about YouTube, about social media in general. I just wrote an op-ed on my website, thefractaljournal.com, which you can find by typing fractaljournal.com into your search bar up there. And, yeah, it's overdue to talk about because it's such an important issue since basically that's how everybody talks to each other and it's how businesses get discovered, etc. And it's that aspect of businesses getting discovered, content creators getting discovered, that really gets my goat and makes me want to talk about it. And here's why. I think people should be rewarded for merit. And in order for that to happen, the algorithms have to be effective. And obviously, we're seeing rather ineffective algorithms. There's an independent journalist called Tim Pool, and he reported that his mother, who is just a lady, I'm assuming pretty middle class, kind of middle-aged, was teaching kids math. And her video got censored. Then when she went to contest it, I think the human that reviewed it also censored it. Now, whether a human actually did that, I don't know, because if they did, that's silly. Is that because she's associated with Tim Pool, and for some reason YouTube doesn't like Tim Pool? That's a question that's up for debate, but it is illustrative of the fact that the algorithm makes it very difficult to navigate an environment, and therefore makes the environment incredibly unmeritocratic. Now, myself, I have some qualms with the whole concept of meritocracy because look, something can be really valuable. There's an objective way to kind of tell what's valuable. There is. It depends on how much effort you've put into it and whether or not it attains a certain goal and whether or not that goal is noble. So some people might argue, well, how do we live in a meritocracy when sportsmen get these billions and billions of dollars, but doctors searching for a cancer cure, while they might get paid good, don't get paid as good as that, etc. I understand that. But inherently, the idea of meritocracy and functioning on merit means that if you put in the work, there's not something in the way of your work getting noticed that's aggressively in the way of it. And I feel like that creating an algorithm that that messes with things for political reasons and for reasons unknown, undefined, is just wrong. Especially when it's done by a big company like Google, which is nearly ubiquitous, and which I think I've heard mention of having tax breaks within the United States. Here's the thing to me that I find incredibly egregious about it, is that you can't tell people what to do with a pen and a paper, no matter how large that pen and paper is, no matter how many people eventually see what you've done with that pen and paper. As a pen and paper maker, you make pens and you make papers. Now, I understand it's a search engine, it's a little bit different than that, and the analogy is a little clumsy, but at the same time, what they're doing is providing people a way to write stuff, make videos, etc. And that is very pen and paper-like. And, you know, you might say, well, okay, look, but they're providing this to you for free, and they're a private company, and the like. With a pen maker, you're paying for the pen, so you pay for the right to use the pen however you want. But the thing of it is the whole Google model, the whole way that they generate revenue is based on, I think, selling information they get from how users search things and how YouTubers YouTube things, and what brings people to YouTube and to Google. Well, it's content created by third parties, by YouTube users. Therefore, it's egregious, and it is people telling you what to do with a pen and paper that basically, when you signed up for these services, you kind of got the sense that as long as you were being reasonable, the work that you put out there would be rewarded in as fair a way as is possible. But that, obviously, you can go look up all of the stuff about this. That hasn't really been going on. As I already mentioned, that example about Tim Pool's mother, and my goodness. So, the thing is, I want to move away from YouTube, but can I? Content discovery on YouTube is great. YouTube provides me with great things. I've been around YouTube since it first started out. I used to have a channel on it in 2008. It went away for a while, but I kept watching because it's a great way to discover independent and interesting content. But recently, it's becoming less of that, although it's still the largest place where it's easiest to find those things. Now, what we're probably going to have to do is we're going to have to shift some of our habits. While I think it's important to not just run away completely from Google, we have to start vocalizing, as I'm doing here and others have been doing, our displeasure with this, and pointing out that, hey, you operate in the United States in kind of a very monopolistic way, and you should not do these sorts of things. Not only is it unethical from a business standpoint, but there might be some legal issues here. Now, we don't need to necessarily get litigious or get into a legal battle with anybody, but we just have to keep putting the pressure on. And one of the other ways is by, you can stay on YouTube and Google. I probably will be uploading videos to YouTube still, but upload videos elsewhere, like Minds.com, for one, is an open source kind of community-owned social networking, providing tools for revenue, reach, privacy, and internet freedom. There it is. I have it up so that I remember what exactly it was. Then there's, of course, Mastodon, which is kind of an open source Twitter alternative. There's all kinds of ways. You can host your own content. It's a little bit more difficult, but yeah. So, personal responsibility, social pressure. I think that we can keep this thing from getting more and more disastrous, because in the United States especially, there is no room for this kind of business practice. It's bad for our economy. It's bad for us politically. It creates divisions. People feel like they're not being treated fairly, and that's not cool. And I had to talk about it. So if you like what you're seeing, this podcast is called Auditoration. You can find it on YouTube. You can find it on Minds.com. I'll start uploading stuff there, or on the Internet Archive, which is another great way that's free, where you can save your content, because you should be doing that anyway. Content does get lost. Well, thank you, folks. Thank you for listening, and have a great time wherever time finds you. Goodbye.